Yeah, we got a few minutes.
We probably ought to ask.
Shh. Hello, I'm on. Hi, I'm Susan Carr. Welcome to the first ever virtual Florida Native Plant Society annual members meeting. I'm glad that you're here. I myself am in Orlando, Florida, here with the staff, Juliet and Valerie and Bonnie Basham, who is president-elect for the society. And so welcome. And let me just have, I want, so you know I'm not just standing out here in the middle of nowhere. Could each of you just step up and show your face and say who you are?
Hi, I'm Bonnie Basham, and I'm so grateful for each of you for signing in and joining us on this meeting. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Juliet Reiner, the Executive Director of the Florida Native Plant Society. Welcome. Wish I could see you in person, but hopefully next year we'll have this meeting in person again. Thanks.
Hi everyone, Valerie Anderson, Director of Communications and Programming. Thank you for coming to the meeting.
Thank you, guys. Okay, so we are here. The four of us are here in this in Orlando office. We are trying to practice. Well, we are practicing social distancing, and Valerie's gone to great lengths to set up this really a whole studio here with the lights and the cameras. So this is really pretty exciting. I've never done anything like this myself, so you have to bear with me. But anyhow, today, if you want to advance the slide, please. Okay. Okay. So today, as we know, we postponed the regular annual conference, and that I think that was, in retrospect, a good call. And I really, really appreciate staff and our contractors and all of our volunteers for being flexible and adaptable with this. We've decided, so instead of that, well, not instead of that, we are planning on having the annual conference in 2021, the same location, Jacksonville, Florida. And this is our annual meeting, the conference usually has an annual meeting, and so we're doing this instead. Oh, I'm sorry, bring my voice down. Okay. A big purpose of an annual meeting, per our own bylaws, is to hold elections for new board members, new board officers and directors. So we will be doing that toward the end, but we also, another big purpose of the annual meeting is to give out our awards, make general announcements, and have a brief year in review, touch on the highlights. There's too much to really say all at once. But so to that end, and also have some report outs from some of our very active committees. And so this is the agenda on the screen, which I hope you can see. And so in general, the first part will be my president's report. Really loud. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm going to whisper now. First, I will be talking about just some highlights of the year and things that are going on. Then we will have a report from Sue Mullins, who is our lobbyist for FNPS. Paul Schmalzer will be announcing the Science Endowment Awards. Juliet will announce the Conservation Award. Then we have a whole lot of Palmetto Awards to make. Then we will have the elections. And at that point, we'll introduce the slate of nominees, and then Valerie, because we've never done this before, but Valerie has set up a way to vote virtually. So she will walk you through it when we get to that point toward the end of the meeting. Then after that, we have a special treat. We're going to do a signing of a new memorandum of understanding with the Florida Wildflower Foundation. The president of FWF is here with us as a special guest. Next slide. Okay. Well, I really just want to touch on a few highlights from the year, because a lot has happened this year. Obviously all the pandemic stuff and everything, but in spite of all that, we have continued to be strong and grow. And so I really want to just hit on a few highlights of our mission work, our organizational growth and development, and of course, our membership and support. Okay. Just a few, I know there's way too much stuff for me to go through, and there's so many good things going on at chapter levels. I'm just going to touch on a few things that have sort of been going on at the state level. I think most of you are aware of that the FNPS, we are now a landowner. We purchased 12 acres in Marion County, Florida, for the purpose of protecting an endangered plant, Waria implexifolia. Here's a picture of it here. And implexifolia means wrapped around the stem, I believe, clasping the stem. So you can see where that plant gets its name. This is a federally endangered plant, and it's endemic to Florida. So it's reaching its northern limits of distribution in Marion County. We bought with the help from the Nature Conservancy and the Felburn Foundation. We purchased 12 acres, and I believe this is probably one or maybe the first preserved specifically for an endangered plant in Florida. So we're really proud of this accomplishment. And Juliet has been working on this project for years and continues to do so. So we hope this is one of the first of many of such small scale conservation efforts specifically for endangered plants. Thanks. Another endangered plant that we are working on is the Florida torreya. This is the Florida's, I think, only endangered tree species. Yes?
Oh, no.
No. Okay. But it is a federally endangered tree species. And if you can see this map here, it's only found in one little part of the Florida Panhandle. And you can, unfortunately, it was right in the path of Hurricane Michael over a year ago. So that map shows the path of the hurricane and the range of the Florida torreya. So we started this project before the hurricane. The hurricane came, just really messed up the area, but the project continues on and makes our work even more critically important now. So this work, Juliet, do you want to say just something very quick about the torreya project?
Sure. So we're working in partnership with the Atlanta Botanic Garden. They had been surveying for torreya on public properties. And so now FNPS is now spearheading the project to reach out to private landowners, because there's probably 20,000 acres of unsurveyed land that could be potential habitat for torreya. So we're very excited about that. We've gotten responses so far from about 40 landowners, some of whom own over 1,000 acres. So we already have lots of work ahead of us. We're very grateful to FEMA and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for providing funding that will kick in September, and will fund 3 years of this project. So we were able to, through that, and donations from private foundations like the Jelks Family Foundation, and donations from our members. Thank you very much for your generosity. We were able to hire Lily Anderson Messick as a new employee, and so that money, those donations and the money from Jelks Family Foundation allows us to hire her until the funding from U.S. Fish and Wildlife comes in September to carry on the program. And also the U.S. Forest Service also gave us a grant this year, and that is helped us to hire a contractor to help us reach out to these private landowners and organize the project. So thank you all very much.
Thanks, Juliet. Okay, next slide. Well, you better stay up here. Plant rescues. This is a big, I'd say big part of our mission work, where we literally move plants that are in harm's way, places that are going to be developed. We rescue them, and here's a picture of it. In fact, there's the effort, in the Panhandle. There's this kind of came up suddenly. There's a road widening project in the Panhandle south of Tallahassee. And Scott Davis and Gail and some bunch of folks up there, Gail Fishman and others, mobilized a group of volunteers to literally move a lot of rare native plants from I think right before the contractors were going to get there to clear the area for the road widening. There's also a lot of work going on in the Clearmont area, right? For moving plants in advance of the bulldozers for a new development. So, okay. there's all kinds of citizen science projects going on throughout the state. A couple of them I'll just mention here have to do with rare mints. Dicerandra is a genus of shrubby mint, and there's several rare species in Florida. And our Native Plant Society, as far as I know, is the only outfit that's actively going out and monitoring these populations to inform land management. And this is a really, really valuable service for our land managers. The water management district lands, state parks. So this has been going on, and this is so valuable because I don't think anybody else is doing it, you know? So we really, here's a picture of these folks. They're learning a lot about the life history and the demography of these plant species that's really not known.
Thank Florida Forest Service for the funding.
Yes, and as Juliet is reminding me, we thank Florida Forest Service for funding this project, the one for Dicerandra modesta
And
cornatissima. Yes, so we thank you. So I think that with groups like ours and interest from the Native Plant Society, it actually spurs interest from state agencies and funders. So it really takes this kind of citizen science to get this stuff rolling. Next. Okay, this is a kind of an exciting one. Another partnership that I'd like to mention. This one's just getting started. A new partnership with the Ocala National Forest. So this is the U.S. Forest Service. Silver Glen Springs is a magnitude 1 spring in Marion County, right in the middle of the Ocala National Forest. So we're in central Florida again. The Forest Service has asked us, the Native Plant Society, to design and execute a major landscaping project to restore the shores of that spring with native plants, of course. So Juliet is working with some contractors and volunteers to get the designs in place. So I think you're going to be hearing a lot more about this project in the future. Land management reviews. I think you guys have all heard about this program. I think this is one of our most successful mission-related programs in the society. And Grace is not, she may be on the line, but she's not here with us today. I want to report out that once again, we've had 100% attendance at these land management reviews. This is really important because this is where citizens, this is again, citizen input, citizens have input into how our public lands are managed. And we represent plants, native plant habitats. We are at the table. I think we're probably the only ones who are. And we have this incredible attendance rate. And I've worked with the state, the guy that organizes this, and you know, we're the first one on his speed dial, right? To call up to attend these reviews. So this is the kind of work that maybe is underknown and underappreciated, but this is really, really important stuff. And so Grace Howell has been leading this charge as the committee chair for the land management reviews, and she has done a great job. We've had 100% attendance and coverage for this until coronavirus kind of happened. So now, due to external forces, we're on hold with this, but this is going to rev up again next year, and we'll be right back at it. Okay, now let me shift. I want to brag a little bit on our organization and our organizational development. Here's our staff. You met two of them, Juliet and Valerie. And as Juliet already mentioned, we have a new staff member as of not just a few months ago, Lily Anderson Messick. She has been, because of all of the good work and growth of the Torreya project, we have hired Lily as a part-time Torreya project coordinator. So she's up there in the Panhandle running that project. And so we welcome her. And I think this is great, how our mission-related work actually spurs and fuels organizational growth, especially as Juliet just does such a wonderful job fundraising with grants and private awards. So welcome, Lily. Next. Okay, our membership is strong. We're at about 4,200 members at this point, and our volunteer efforts are. You have anything to? It's she's got awesome thumbs up from Juliet. So next. Okay, this one is very, very important, especially in recent times. We were already really growing in our virtual digital presence and communications, and then the pandemic. So this is vitally important now. And thanks to the work of Valerie, who has just done a bang up job with our social media, you've probably tuned in to some of the YouTube programs, the Lunch and Learns. Now we're all learning how to have virtual meetings like this one. So it looks like this is going to be with us for a while. So this is really important. And I'm really glad that we are staying engaged and staying communicated with our membership in this way. Valerie's also been working with individual chapters. I put the Martin on here because this is, I think, the most recent one that you've been working with. So I give a shout out to the Martin County chapter there as they work through their digital challenges and staying connected and keeping people engaged with native plants. Okay, I wanted to mention, of course, all of this can't happen without the support of our members, and I'm happy in our donors. Our major donations are up, which is great. That really keeps us going. So I wanted to just mention a few things that happened in the last year. We have a new fund dedicated to the study of native plants, especially those that are understudied. Think of the Dicerandra project that I mentioned before, stuff like that, citizen science. This fund was brought to us in concept and support by Chris Calder, and he's a member of the Couplet Fern. Yes, Couplet Fern chapter. So thank you, Chris, if you're on the line. He came and he said, I want to do something dedicated to mission-related work for the society. So we came up with this idea. It resembles the research award, the research grants in how it will be awarded, and it'll be on an annual cycle. But this one is more geared to the study of native plants and plant communities, and it will be awarded preferentially to members and chapters. So look forward to that. That'll be coming up. We had a very large legacy gift from the late Cornelia McNamara. That's a picture of her there. And that's a great legacy. I never had the honor of meeting Cornelia, but we very much appreciate her, thinking of the society and her estate planning. And that is, we actually, in case you don't know, we have a legacy gift program, the Legacy Society. So if anyone is interested in any of that, please give us a ring, contact us. We'll tell you more about it. We've received 3 nice, generous gifts from family foundations, the Jelks family, Felburn Foundation, and Sperlino Foundations. Juliet already mentioned the Jelks Foundation partially supports the Torreya project. Felburn Foundation helped us buy that land for the Waria and Plexifolia. We've had several very generous gifts from anonymous donors. So I can't thank them, but thank you. You know who you are. So thank you, anonymous donors. And of course, just an incredible increase in our institutional grants and awards. Florida Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, FEMA, all the agencies and stuff. And that has been a great growth sector. And thank you, staff, for working tirelessly on that. I know that's a lot of work. Go ahead. Okay, so that wraps up my whirlwind tour of the highlights of the year. And so with that, I'm going to turn over the internet here to Sue Mullins. Sue, for those of you who don't know, is our lobbyist. We have a lobbyist, and here she is. And she's going to talk about, give a policy report and talk about the legislative session this year. And I also want to mention that Jean Kelly is the chair of our policy committee. So is she on the
Okay, Susan, thank you so much. And just a moment of personal privilege. It's been a real pleasure to serve you, Susan, for the last 2 years. You have been very deliberate and a very steady hand for the organization, and I totally appreciate it. We've furthered not just the organizational work, but certainly our policy work, and you've been a huge part of that. So thank you, and thanks also to staff for doing these virtual programs and make all this possible. But today I'm coming to you from Ocala County, and sorry we can't all be together in person, but with the looming storm and all that, it might be best anyways. So this year in the legislature, we actually did a little bit better than we have in the past. This is a presidential election year, and typically that means that legislators are a little more responsible in their lawmaking generally, because they realize that voters will be watching and paying attention as they go to the ballot box in November. So in terms of the actual legislative bills, there weren't any that, every year it seems we have a really terrible bill for the environment. And this year it wasn't to be. There were some that, are regrettable things that we would like to change, but they haven't been signed yet. In fact, I should mention that due to the coronavirus really hitting at the very last week of the legislative session, Governor DeSantis really hasn't been sent very many bills yet at all. So some of the major pieces of legislation that we followed and tried to help change and tried to help make better, et cetera, have not been sent to the governor yet and have not been signed. And with that, I mentioned the growth management bill. That was Senate Bill 410, and it's really just the annual assault on planning and growth management in Florida. This bill would mandate local governments to adopt new plans or new elements in their comprehensive plan, specifically to protect private property rights, meaning the burden of protection of public, whether it's public lands or public resources, natural resources. The burden is therefore on the people who want to protect the natural resources versus those who want to protect buildings, development, new roads, etc. So that is one that we certainly wish the governor wouldn't sign, and we're hopeful that maybe he will veto that or just not. I don't know. They haven't sent it to him yet, so the jury's still out on whether he's in support or not. Another bill that came through and forgive the pun, but got watered down throughout the session is called the Clean Waterways Act. It's what happens every year. Some folks start with really good ideas about major water quality reform, and this year there was some momentum. As you know, Governor DeSantis has been very proactive in his outreach to address the red tide and the algal blooms, and particularly down in the Everglades and Lake Okeechobee. And so water quality is something that he's interested in and that seems to be moving forward. Unfortunately, in the sausage making that is the legislative process, it did get weakened, and in the end there were some regrettable provisions added. But on the good side, for the first time, we do have some real teeth to some of the basin management plans that are set to improve, to monitor and improve water quality statewide. It kind of helps with the stormwater management and some of the nutrient overload that we see from heavily fertilized areas like golf courses and things like that. So that was one of those that you kind of hold your nose and hope it passes, and just look at it as one of those things that it's a step in the right direction. We're finally getting some oversight. The water quality program for water well monitoring has moved back to the Department of Health, and that is certainly a step in the right direction. So all in all, we see this as a first step towards some actual good news. So there were some really good bills that passed, And one of those was, although it's not really in our mission, it was very, very important, I think, overall to the environment, particularly the coastal environment, and that's a bill to ban the import, export, and sale of shark fins in Florida. So unbelievably, a number of businesses are still selling legally harvested shark fins in the state, and they will have to curtail that and eventually stop in the near future. So that was a huge win, I think, for coastal Florida and for those of us that care about the other species. So another good bill for coastal Florida was the Nature Coast Aquatic Preserve, which was created just off the coast of Citrus, Hernando, and Pasco County, establishing about 500,000 acres of seagrass beds will now newly be protected. And so that's a huge win for water quality and for shellfish and just seagrass beds. As we know, that's the highlight, the best place you can protect in near coastal Florida is your seagrass beds. So that was extremely helpful. And we got a bill that was kind of curious about the process. House Bill 549 provides for the public records exemption for the site-specific location of endangered species. So we think this bill was well intended. There's some ideas that this was by private landowners to keep well-meaning scientists like us out of private properties so that they would be more highly regulated, those properties, if there are endangered species present. On the other hand, it could be really helpful for what we see as a harmful take. Many times people that go into areas and remove or destroy endangered threatened species. So that one also calls for a study, and so I think that might be a place that we can get involved and try to provide some real guidance to that so that it does the latter rather than the former. One bill that we were really hoping would pass and it just evaporated was the creation of a statewide office of resiliency. And this would have resided within the executive office of the governor and would have required the office to basically have a group of scientists and experts in various fields, their only purpose being to recommend consensus projections of anticipated sea level rise and the flooding impacts and the the kind of impacts generally that go with climate change. That made it really only halfway through the legislature before it was it just ceased to exist. These things die on the vine, and this one, it was curious because this was a governor's initiative, and sometimes in the back and forth where legislators trade, the House may have wanted it, and the Senate wanted something from the House, and so they pulled it. That kind of thing happens, and that's probably what happened here, but we're hoping to see that again. So I'm just going to move very quickly into the budget, which had some great news for us, really, but unfortunately, the governor should receive the budget from the legislature sometime in the next week or 10 days, I understand, and we expect the governor's office to really slash the budget, basically because of the economic hits that we've taken all around the state, whether it's sales tax or many other revenue sources. And so they really don't have the revenue they need in order to fulfill the budget that they passed. So the highlight of the budget that we did pass was Florida Forever, our land conservation program. For the second time in 10 years, we got real money, triple digits, $100 million. Last year, if you remember, we got $33 million. And particularly for you guys down in South Florida, you know that $33 million doesn't go very far in purchasing lands, especially the tracts of the size that you need to actually protect an ecosystem or a natural community. So the $100 million goes 3 times as far, and we really looked at that as a win. It was a very hard fought piece of line item budget to get through because this was very competitive even before all the coronavirus and all that. The legislature, of course, still dealing with the after effects of Hurricane Michael and Irma. plus the governor's initiative this year for teacher pay raises and such as that. We did get a $690 million allocation statewide for various water quality projects. So inside of that, there's $322 million for Everglades restoration, $236 million for water quality improvements such as septic to sewer and wastewater improvement programs, and then standalone $25 million for the Indian River Lagoon restoration projects. So for us specifically, we were able to secure $216,000 for the Endangered Plant Species program, and that's used in great part by the Society for grants across the state for endangered plant restoration projects. We saw the Blue-Green Algae Task Force receive another $10 million to do the work of water quality improvements. We saw another $10 million to a Florida Resilient Coastline Initiative, and then a separate $50 million for springs restoration. And I wanted to mention that in addition to that straight line item for springs, there are budget items within DEP and the water management districts to do with total maximum daily loads, which is a water nutrient reduction program, as well as the basin management action plans that are regionally based water quality improvements. So I think springs in this year's budget did get a good bit of funding. In terms of the invasive species, we got $2.3 million just for the invasive species response, and that will certainly help the endangered plants and invasive plants. And then on red tide, another about $5 million to try to shore up some of the issues going on statewide along our coast for the red tide. Generally, the budget, what I said about the cuts, let's all be prepared for that. That's unfortunate, but I know it's coming. We are actively, with leadership of Gene Kelly, our policy committee leader, actively lobbying the governor to retain that $100 million for Florida Forever. That's in a time of pandemic, one of the things that people yearn to do, and you guys know this all too well, was get outside. And if it were not for our public natural areas, the parks, the forests, etc., there would be a lot less joy in what Floridians and any visitors that happen to be here could access. And we just feel like this is exactly the time to keep funding for land conservation, as well as trying to meet the needs of other statewide issues that deal head on really with the pandemic. And a final note on that, again, with Gene Kelly's leadership, we have asked the governor to veto the more than $100 million for that was provided for the state roads project, the roads to nowhere, we call them, the three corridors that were passed last year in legislation that bypassed all any kind of planning or necessity, show of need, that sort of thing. These corridors would go through so many natural areas, so many places that are underrepresented in our portfolio of conservation lands, right through huge endangered species corridors. And nobody ever said they were needed. And 117 million plus that we found in the budget that would be dedicated to just this 1 year to push forward on those three new corridors, which also, by the way, would be turnpike corridors. They would be toll roads. We just feel like that at this period is not a good use of public funds, and so we've asked the governor for a veto of that and to retain Florida Forever. So we're hopeful going forward that we do retain the most of the environmental funding. If anything, Mother Nature is trying to send us a message, and the best thing we can do is look after her. And these funds and some of these legislative proposals or legislative bills that hopefully will become law should help address that. I don't know if Jean wanted to add anything or if there's any questions. right, well, guys, thank you, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve you, and look forward to seeing you all again, hopefully next year in person if possible. That's all for me, Val.
Good morning. Florida Native Plant Society awards one-year research grants to support research that forwards the mission of the Florida Native Plant Society to promote the preservation, conservation, and restoration of native plants and native plant communities of Florida. This year, we received 11 applications for the 2020 Research Awards. Proposals were reviewed by Dr. Lauren Anderson, Dr. John Moore, Ms. Kim Zarillo, and me. Research awards are funded by earnings from the Florida Native Plant Society Endowment and by contributions from chapters and individuals. This year, we received contributions of $1,500 from the Tar Flower chapter and $500 from the Sea Rocket chapter. We thank all those who've contributed to the endowment or to research grant awards. Go to the next slide. This year, we were able to fund 4 grants. These are Andrea Appleton, Georgia Southern University, the evolution of diece in Florida endemic species of Paronychia. Karim Dawkins and N. Esubutu, sorry for the pronunciation there, from Florida Atlantic University, evaluation of the effects of microbial remediation treatments on the performance of South Florida slash pine and shepherd's needle seedlings during Brazilian pepper tree invasion. Daniel Revellini, University of Miami, chemical warfare or microbial manipulation, identifying indirect impacts of allelopathy on plant microbial interactions in the Florida scrub. This grant is being funded by a contribution from the Tar Flower chapter in honor of Sam Hopkins. And the fourth one to Brendan Scherer, Florida State University, bacterial diversity across the leaves of Florida mangroves and their relatives. So we thank all who've supported these awards, and we thank the FNPS for its continual commitment to this program. Okay, that completes the information on the research grant awards.
Is this thing on?
Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay.
Next slide.
This is Susan back again. And I don't think you heard me before, but I'll introduce him retroactively. That was Paul Schmalzer, who is the chair of our science committee. So thank you, Paul. Thank you for the report. And now we have Juliet right here next to me, who's going to announce the 2020 Conservation Grant Award.
Hello again. And before I talk about the award, let me thank our donors. Our Sea Rocket chapter of the Florida Native Plant Society, our Nature Coast chapter, Jan Allen, the Tarflower chapter in honor of Dick Durling, the father of plant rescue. And this year, we lost one of our founding members of our society and of the day chapter, and that was Joyce Gann. And a number of people donated in memory of Joyce Gann to the Conservation Awards this year. So thank you all very much. Too many of you to name here, but thank you so much. And also the day chapter gives an annual donation to the conservation grants. So thank you again, day chapter. And that's always in honor of Don and Joyce Gann, their founding members. And so that's why it's like really especially wonderful that the award this year, a $5,000 grant, went to Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden because it's in their neck of the woods. And I think Joyce is probably smiling right now. The study will be optimizing cultivation and increasing the availability of 4 locally rare Asclepias species, an important wildlife supporting plant. So a brief description of the work. In South Florida, there's 4 species that are locally rare of milkweed. So native ecotypes are generally not available in the market for butterfly gardeners or even for habitat restoration projects. So this project will be really important. They'll be collecting seeds from local populations of 4 different milkweed species. They're going to have a study on long-term storage techniques for the seeds. They'll also establish a living ex situ collection that will allow them to bulk seed so that they'll be optimizing germination protocols for these species with a goal to produce large quantities of milkweed seeds, and that they'll be able to distribute them through their Fairchild's Connect to Protect network, which is a fantastic program in Dade County where they're connecting the last and preserving the last parcels of undeveloped pine rocklands habitat. So this is a really exciting project, and we're so grateful to all of our donors who made this possible. We're grateful to be able to fund it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Juliet. Susan here again. I understand there are about 120 people attending this, right? It's 126 right now, so that's great. That's probably more than we have in the in-person annual meetings. So, and there's quite a active chat going on, and it sounds like most of the comments are good. I did want to address, somebody said that the Nature Conservancy did in fact fund half of the purchase of that Wary area. So I mentioned that in brief when I was talking about the Wary area purchase. So I just want to make sure, I want to underscore that the Nature Conservancy helped us. And I don't have enough time to go into the whole story now, but it was actually for the benefit of the Florida sand skink. And so you guys have probably heard me tell this story before. So it's an interesting story of how rare animal mitigation funding went to, help this animal, but also a rare plant, an endangered plant. So very interesting story. I'll tell it again sometime if anybody wants. But anyhow, so moving along, now we have the awards part of our meeting, and we have a lot of awards to do. And unfortunately, we don't have the benefit of calling out and people coming up and we shake hands. Of course, we can't shake hands anymore. But you don't get to see the people, hear the people. So we're going to do the best we can. And I tried to get as many pictures off the internets as I could. So at least you could put some of the faces. I didn't get everybody. So I apologize in advance if your picture is missing or if I have the wrong picture. So did the best we can. So we're going to start with the Green Palmetto Award. And this is what it looks like. And Juliet's standing 6 feet away. Okay, so you're gonna help me, right? Okay, so here is one example of this lovely plaque. And everybody on this list gets one of these at some point in some manner. We'll figure that out. And so I want to kind of in bulk award the Green Palmetto Award to all of these people that you see on the screen. And Juliet, do you want to, I can, how about I say their name, and if you want to say anything about, or not, okay. So Netta Villalobos-Bell, is that?
Villalobos?
Villalobos, I'm sorry, okay. Thank you, Netta. You are receiving the Green Palmetto Award for Education. The Green Palmetto Award for Service. We've got quite a number of folks. And I apologize in advance if I slaughter your name. So Susan Angermeyer, Marion Krim, Kathleen Poole, Jan Allen, Jackie Sward, Martha Stewart, and Teresa Lutz. Thank you for your service. And I wish you were here so I could shake your hand and you guys could, and we could get the photo up. But Juliet did remind me that next year, back when, you know, when we all get together again, we'll have a chance to see you in person and get a picture, right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, moving on, we have a special award that I'm gonna hand this over to Juliet.
Our Mentor Award is the highest award that the Florida Native Plant Society gives, and it's for service in the field of plant conservation over a lifetime, education, and the education of other people and bringing them into the Native Plant Society fold and into the love of native plants is also part of the criteria. So this year, we are giving the Mentor Award to Craig Hegel. Craig is a conservationist, a total plant geek and biologist, a teacher extraordinaire. He's amazing, an author. He's written a ton of books. Many of you probably have his books. If you don't, I think they're still on sale now through, they are through I forgot.
Florida Press.
University
of Florida Press.
The University of Florida Press is doing a special deal because they usually give us discounts at the annual conference every year. But they're honoring that as if we were having a live conference. So you can order books online, use that code. You can go to our Facebook page and get the code. There's a number of posts about it. So if you want any of Craig's books, that's where you go and you get them at discount right now. So thank you so much, Craig, for your service. And we enjoy all of your talks, all of your presentations, all the work that you do, and all the books you write. Thank you.
Hi, okay. Thank you, Juliet, and thank you, Craig. Again, moving on, now we're moving to the chapter, the FNPS chapter of the year, which this year is awarded to the Couplet Fern chapter, President Mark Catelli. And I have a nice picture of him here. Mark has just torn it up. I mean, he's been a member for 10 years, and he's been the president of this chapter for 2 or 3 years, I believe. And he has just done phenomenal things. And I bet most of you on this call have seen or even attended one of his virtual sessions. And I mean, he's our trendsetter. We're learning so much from him. There's a picture of him with the garden lunch with Jenny Steibold. In addition, he's just done so much to get that chapter up and really growing. And he's wonderful. And the chapter, thank you to the chapter. And do you have anything to add? Okay, so thank you, Mark, for your and the chapter. Thank you. The Silver Palmetto Awards. These are picked by the board president, and this year it was Bonnie and I, as Bonnie's president-elect, picked a number of people to receive this award. So I'm going to talk about these people kind of in chunks. The first group is Karina Vaudry, Gail Taylor, and Deborah Curry. Karina, I think we all know Karina, is in a powerhouse in Central Florida. She used to be the executive director of this fine society, and now she is really doing great things for the Pine Lily chapter. She's also working on a new initiative, relatively new initiative of the societies for landscape development codes. Now, I know that sounds kind of, but this is really important stuff when we live in one of the fastest growing states in the nation, and the way we develop is going to set, our future for native plants for, a long time. So Karina is, she's been a native plant enthusiast for years. She has her own landscaping business, and really, I'm honored to present this award. Gail Taylor, wow. I mean, I can't say it. She is just one of those stalwarts. She's been, she breathed life into the citrus chapter back in 2012 when she moved there from Miami. And, she's just one of those people that she doesn't like to be in the foreground, but she's just doing so much behind the scenes. She's been working with Bonnie and others on membership, trying to get the our membership efforts, really improved. And so thank you, Gail. I'm really glad to have the chance to work with you. Deborah Curry, I mentioned her earlier because she's working a lot on these Dicerandras and the Warium plexifolia. So she is a passionate lover of native plants who tells me that when she moved up here to Central Florida, she decided that she wanted to learn about the life history of these rare plants. And that is exactly what we need. Like I mentioned before, we need more information. We need great citizen science efforts like that. So thank you. I'm awarding this to you virtually. Thank you. Okay, next slide. Okay. These ladies are on the board, and so they have been exemplary board members. Wendy Pogue is the chair of our education committee, and she has spearheaded several publications. She works on the Vine digital publication. I hope that you guys check that out. It's on our website, and so she's really breathed life into that committee. And so thank you very much. Grace Howe, I mentioned her before. She heads up that land management review committee, and she's just done a wonderful job. And it's an incredible coordination effort. So thank you, Grace. I'm glad you're on this board. The last two, I'm actually going to hand it over to Bonnie because they're up in the Panhandle more in your geography. So there you go. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. And our two North Florida winners are Gail Fishman and Scott Davis. They both work in an extraordinarily important project to try to determine how the Asclepias various varieties live, what kind of conditions they live in. They are taking seeds from various areas around the state, bringing them up to Ocala County along with their dirt, and working on various ways that we can put those back into those areas and assure an even greater production of those very, very, very valuable plants. And Gail and Scott are also very involved in plant saves. I think if they had to, they would lay down in front of the bulldozer to make sure that we save plants. And they have a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of ability to coordinate a whole bunch of people. In the last one I did, I think we were in 7 different locations, and they still kept up with everything we're doing. So it's an honor to award this to Gail and Scott as well. And yes, Gail has a snake. I haven't been able to determine what kind yet, but that's just Gail. And she and Scott are pretty neat people. Thanks.
Thank you, Bonnie. Okay, Susan here again. Now we are moving into the last part of our meeting, and we're building up to the election, so it's exciting stuff. I wanted to report out about the council chapters. I talked with Kara the other day, so Kara wanted me to convey that the council chapters will be holding regional chapter meetings around the state. Of course, it's all kind of been waylaid by the coronavirus thing, but as soon as we are able to do it, the plan is to move to some more regional settings for chapter meetings. I think that's a great idea. The council chapters had elections recently, and we have 2 new officers for the COC. Wayne Baker, who I believe is in the St. Augustine area. Okay. And Melanie Simon, who is Passion Flower chapter. So, and then Kara continues on as chair of the council of chapters. So, welcome Melanie and Wayne, and thank you, Kara, for your continued service. And thank you all, the council. So, okay. Now, as we move toward the election of the new board directors and officer, I just wanted to remind you, this is the current composition of our board, and the highlighted yellow positions are what we will be holding elections for today. The blue highlights are chairs, committee chairs, and they are currently vacant. These are not elected positions. These are appointed positions. And they are on the board by virtue of being chairs of these committees. If you are interested in any of these positions or know somebody who is, please let us know, or you can let Bonnie know, or Juliet, or any of us. And we are still recruiting for these positions. And so, go ahead next. Okay, so. I'm going to be, now bear with me. We got 2 things to vote on today. We need to vote to approve the meetings from the last annual meeting in 2019. And we need to vote on this slate of nominees. And I know they're separate motions, but because of the digital thing here, we're going to do one vote. So we're going to have a motion, second, and then another motion, second, but we're going to vote on both of these motions basically simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And Val's going to step up here and tell you exactly how to do it, so don't worry.
But we introduce the slate first.
Yeah, I know. After I introduce the slate, of course. Yes. So the slate of nominees this year for president, Bonnie Basham. She is currently president-elect. So obviously she's running for president this year. Director at large, Andy Nacarado. From Naples chapter for a director of large position, and Mark Catelli for another director's position. So that's the slate of nominees. Now, per our bylaws, I'm asking if there are any other nominations from the floor, even though there's literally no floor here. I mean, there is, but you're not on it. So if you want to nominate somebody, enter it in the chat now. Oh, no. Just get with it. Okay, Valerie, we had a little delay there, so we waited. We gave a nice period because we're working on a time delay here. Valerie, was there anything in the chat? Okay, there were no nominations from the floor. Thank you. So hearing none. Now, first, may I have a motion from a member, and there happens to be one right here. May I have a motion to approve the 2019 annual meeting minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of the 2019.
Okay, and state your name, please.
Gail Paget.
Gail Pageant, okay. Is there a second?
Second, Juliet Reiner.
Juliet Reiner seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? I know this is a chat thing, but we have to wait. Asking about the landscape numbers. Here. All right. Okay, we received no comments from the floor about the meeting minutes. No, we haven't done this. I'm not, okay, so that was motion number one. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna call for a motion to approve the slate of nominated candidates as stated from a member.
I so move. I'm Dina Wild.
Dina Wild, member Dina Wild moves to approve the slate of nominees. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Gail seconds the motion. So motion on the floor, any discussion? We'll have another delay here, so if anybody has any discussion, chat now.
This isn't an election. You have to. Just discussion.
Go. Okay, there was no discussion in the chat. I'm going to call a vote on the motion on the floor, and for technical advice, I'm going to bring up Valerie now, who will walk you through how to do this vote. Take it away, Valerie.
Hi there, everyone. So we have a combined vote on a Google form. I just posted the link in the chat. The link has also been emailed to you multiple times. And the link is also in the members only Facebook group, which I understand everybody doesn't do Facebook, so that's why we have it in multiple places. So please click the link, and we'll give 5 minutes for everybody to go vote, and then we'll, look at the voting results, and then that will be the results of the election. So just click the form. It'll come up in a new window. The code is FNPS 2020. We just want people to have random people getting the link and voting. So we put a code, and then please put your name, and you'll be voting on approving the meeting minutes and the entire slate. So there's no voting on individual officers. That's how our bylaws are set up. You have to vote for the slate or against the slate. So please follow that link that's in the chat, and let us know if you have any technical difficulties in the chat. 5 minutes.
All right. Thank you. With that technical primer there, I'm going to call a vote. Please vote. I can't say yay or nay now. Please vote for the slate in the manner that Valerie described, and we will wait 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, we'll come back and announce the results. So please vote now. Okay, we're back. That was 5 minutes, I think right on the nose. And so that concludes the voting. Thank you for everybody who voted. And I'm proud to announce that the slate has been approved by a quorum, a majority of those attending this meeting. Thank you very much. And so with that, I just want to say, I've enjoyed my time as president of this society. I've learned a lot. There have been ups, there have been downs, and this pandemic at the end, this was a real loop. But I'm really proud that we are still here and that we have adapted and continue to grow and continue to do some really, really critically important mission work in the state of Florida. And so thank you for the opportunity to lead this organization for a couple years. I will still be around, but I now pass the gavel to our new president, Bonnie Basham. I'm not going to shake her hand, but congratulations, Bonnie. And I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that you are our president. I'm really psyched that this has happened.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I do have a couple of words.
Yes, and so for that, I'm out.
And Susan can stay here. I'm going to put this down. I don't want anyone to think I'm going to hit anybody.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, our members, and thank you, and let you know that it's both an honor and a privilege to take the helm for these next 2 years. I'd like to thank Susan Carr for her leadership for the last 2 years and review just a few of the incredible number of accomplishments that your society has experienced under her guidance. Under her leadership, your society hired Juliet Reiner as Executive Director and Valerie Anderson as Communications Director. The society surpassed 4,000 members. In pursuing our mission of protecting plant communities and their habitats, we purchased property in Central Florida that you heard about to preserve both Weria taxifolia and the Florida's landscape. You have helped us countless hours rescue plants on the side of the road and in other areas where development was just moments away from taking them away from all of us. We have entered into partnerships with highly respected research institutions like the Atlanta Botanical Gardens in an effort to save the torreya tree. We continue to partner with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the U.S. Forest Service, and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to give input on land management decisions. We have strengthened our relationship with the Florida Wildflower Foundation, as you will witness in just a few moments when we sign a memorandum of understanding. This memorandum lays out a roadmap for the ways in which our organizations will work together towards our mutual goals of protecting, restoring, and expanding Florida native wildlife habitats. You, our chapters, have produced incredible virtual chapter meetings and presentations with the help of our communications director. Through the efforts and expertise of our lobbyist Sue Mullins and Jean Kelly and our policy committee, we finally, after 7 years, succeeded in getting a license plate granted to us by the Florida legislature. And I hope each one of you will strongly consider buying a plate, because the funds that come from those plate purchases will help us further our mission even more. While we work on our mission, I also will be focusing on you, our members. And I look forward to visiting with you and talking with you at chapter meetings for you to discuss and share with me how your society can enable you to more fully realize your native plant passions and interests. Thanks to the leadership of Susan Carr, our society is strong, resilient, and eager to charge ahead to fulfill our mission of preserving, conserving, and restoring Florida native plants. Please join me and your board of directors as we venture forward to continue to do the work of the society. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Now I'll turn the virtual podium over to Mark Telly. Oh, Andy first? No. I'm very sorry. Alphabetically to Andy Nacarado down in the Naples area. Andy, you can say over your words. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. And good morning, everyone. I'm Andy Nacarado, and I'm honored that I was elected for a director-at-large position today. I am from the Naples chapter in Southwest Florida, and I first became connected to the Florida Native Plant Society about 10 years ago when I started working at Naples Botanical Garden, where our chapter meetings are normally held. I joined the Naples Chapter Board of Directors in 2013, and I served in membership, conservation, and education roles before being elected as Naples Chapter President last year. And I'm now beginning my second term as Naples Chapter President. I just really enjoy connecting people to the resources they need to learn about our native plants. So thank you very much.
The sound's off. Okay.
Last and certainly but not least, we'll hear from Mark Cutelli, Couplet Fern.
Hey everyone, my name is Mark Cutelli, president of Couplet Fern chapter. As director, I look forward to the opportunity of working with Dr. Susan Carr and the rest of the board on organizational development and grant funding on the state level for the Florida Native Plant Society. This happens to be my sole project for the upcoming year to better aid and understand systems and procedures on the state level. As I've said before, many of our native plants are silent witnesses. It is up to us to further the mission of Florida Native Plant Society. Our membership is an investment, not just towards conservation and education, but also a well-rounded native plant lifestyle that brings awareness to Florida's vibrant plant heritage. Thank you.
Now you can introduce these, the wildflower people. Introduce them and do the signing.
Right.
Yeah.
Shouldn't I tell them what I'm doing?
Yes. Sorry.
So sorry about that. I guess I've got new president jitters. I'd like to ask Dina Wild, the president of the Florida Wildflower Foundation, to join me, socially distant, so that we can sign this memorandum of understanding. There we go.
Okay. All right. Well, I must say that the Wildflower Foundation has worked with many chapters of the Native Plant Society. And this is just like the next evolution, that we have strong partnership, and through our strong partnership, we're going to save a lot of native plants, so especially the flowering ones. So, Bonnie, there you are. Great. This is wonderful.
Thank you. And we will post the memorandum of understanding on the website today, so all of you can read it. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the meeting.
And the meeting.
Oh, I'm so sorry. With that, unless there's any other business to come before this annual meeting, I declare the meeting adjourned.
Yay. There we go.